Hi guys, we go on with our Paminga exploration and with a key feature of the marketing automation solution now, the forms, which in Paminga are incredibly powerful and very easy to use. We see that in our Paminga tip number 2. So I'm in my Paminga solution here, and I will find the forms here. Here are all the forms, and I can create one here, and I will see my form submission here. So these are the two forms I've created. I will see them in detail, but just before that, here something very essential. All the form submission are here, very easy to see with the date and completeness or not. And if I go to a person detail, I will see in this form tab here all the form that have been filled out over the last days. One thing that is very cool is that the form will auto catch the UTM tags, UTM parameters, sorry, and add them in the form and in the website visit. We see that here. Note that the website visit, we have all the pages, but we have also the duration, which is extremely cool. Now, if I go to my form builder here, the first thing that I noticed was this page here. Yeah, Paminga forms are natively multi-pages if we want. So here on this form, I've created 2 pages, and I can create as many as I want. Each time I create a new page, I can add from delivery, start from scratch, add a row, and here in the row, that's where I choose how many columns I want, and in the columns, I can choose here the fields that I want to put. So here I put a drop down, and for instance, I will use the field country, yeah. And here I will see all my countries. Let's go back to first page. So natively multi-pages. One other very cool feature that usually requires some scripting is it's natively international. So I can have one form, multiple language. I didn't do that on this form. I did that on the form I put on my contact page on my website. And here we have English, which is the native and default language, but I added French. And here Paminga will let me translate all the text, all the fields, all the labels, all the error messages I have on the form in French. So I have total control on my forms. And when I place my form on the website, I have the ability to let Paminga change the language according to the browser language, or I can force the language. So here on my French website, I put the French version of the form. How I did that? Paminga gave me this embed code here that I put here in this Marketo form widget, which is just the form. And I force the French language with this variable. So it's very easy to do, very easy to put. Let's go back to the form builder. So different things we can see here. Obviously, we can put the forms in a folder in the campaign. I can decide to design exactly my form as my website here, or I can let the website handle the CSS. So here I've decided to manage the CSS here. As it's multi-pages, we can record partial submission, and we have the progressive profiling. Here it's a simple progressive profiling, not enabled on the multi-page forms. You basically decide how many fields, how many empty fields you want at each visit. One very cool feature is that the progressive profiling and the prefill are working natively on the website thanks to the cookie, which is not the case for some other solutions. So here on the design, I have those brand kits that I've prepared beforehand. So I've got my brand kit in light and in dark, which is basically my colors. So it's very easy then to create the form, because once you understand how you design a form, you understand how you design a landing page and an email in Paminga. It's exactly the same each time. Here I have a hierarchy of objects. I've got the container here, which is gray. I have the section here. The sections are blue. Then below that, I have the rows. And in the rows, I have the elements. Very easy to understand. And on each of those objects, I can move them. I move them like that. I can edit them. Here, I can put a condition on any object, not only on the field, but on the rows and on the sections. That gives me a lot of freedom. For instance, so I can traditionally make some field appear whether the value of some field is, for instance, the states, the US states, whether the country is United States, and for the other country, we may not want the states. But I could have a full section appear or disappear. For instance, the section related to GDPR. We can have it appear or not, whether the person has already filled out the preference center or not, which is great. Here I can clone the element and available on all the elements, rows, section, and container. I can decide that this element, I put that in my library, and that will serve as a template for the future, for future forms. I can delete the element, and I can open the doc exactly placed on the right element. Here is on the element. I can return to the form. So here we see that with this icon, I've put a conditional element. That when I recorded the French version of this tip. So here, this field will be shown only if the UTM source match Merlin Leonard, for instance. So I don't see the logic in that, but that's the kind of rule I could do. So I can base my condition on the UTM, on the field source, or on field based in the database if the person is recognized. If I want to remove the condition, just do that and stop. Oh no, sorry, I just have to do always, and here the condition disappears. So I can have total control on the design of my form, and it's pretty easy to use. I just started this morning, and I know I've added several sections, several rows, several elements. Here I put a section with 1 column, here with 2 columns, here with 2 columns. And as fields, we have what you could expect from all the modern forms. We have checkboxes, date and time. Let's see that in preview, which is very convenient to fill out. We have the confirm field. So here I apply that on my personal email field. That's not a lot of business sense, but just to show you that we have this matching field that have to be filled out twice to make sure that there's no error. We have the multi-select, the full text, first name, last name, obviously all that is classic. We have this manage your subscription block. I didn't fine tune yet my subscription, but it will change a bit in the future, but it's very cool to have a block for that. We have natively the CAPTCHA, and we have also natively one option that is very useful, and we usually put with some scripts. We can upload files. So I cannot demo that because I've not yet set up my CNAME for the file management, but it will be available very soon. So if I want to add a field, it's very easy. I click here, and here I've got all the elements, not only for the forms, but for the email and landing page, because basically that's the same editor for everything. I can filter out for the form fields here, and you see I have all that. We have a lot of options. It's very, very thorough. Great. To finish, we have those actions. So I can have the total control on the experience when I submit the form. I can display a thank you message, and here I put a very simple message here. I have total control on the look and feel of this message, or I can push on the URL, and I can put condition on that. For instance, if the person has subscribed, direct the person to this landing page with a cat that is crying, and if the person didn't unsubscribe, just push this message. One other very good feature is that we can have actions or conditional actions just after the form. We could do that in a workflow, but we can also do that here just after the form so that it's attached to the form. So obviously we can send an autoresponder email, but we can add or remove from automation lists, subscription lists. We can push the person directly to an audience in Google Ads. We can push events in the data layer of Google Tag Manager. Very cool. Sunset and sunset the contact, change the score, the lead stage, some field values. And here, obviously, I've got all the field values on the contact and the account. That's great. We can directly, that's what I did for my contact form, push a notification on the Slack channel. So I've got all those pop-ups in Slack, send a notification, directly sync the contact to Salesforce because I set up the Salesforce integration, or directly create an opportunity, send a webhook or a Zapier trigger, or register for an event and check in for an event. That's pretty great. Honestly, I haven't seen a form with so many options and so many possibilities of design for a long time, especially not in Marketo. So I think the team did a very good work here. I have 2 or 3 ideas more we could add to the forms. And as they develop pretty quickly, I think we will see more feature in very short time. Thank you for listening. See you next time for the next Paminga Tip.